much for tuning our here with Del Rothman with Real Estate Lawyers.ca LLP, Del Martin from Vegas, and John Malish from EXP Realty. Joining us here this afternoon with myself, Nathan, with EXP Realty. Today, we're bringing to you an event, an evening, um, information for first-time buyers, providing you with vital and valuable information and with tools and tips and tricks as first-time buyers. So let's, without further ado, let's get started here. Um, so all right. So folks, today dive into purchasing your first home, your goals, the big why, your wants, your needs, um, and whether you should buy or should you rent, the buy versus the rent. Obviously, there are lots of questions. There are lots of circumstances. Everyone's situation may be different. So, with that being said, we often be in the pride of homeownership. So here, with our agenda here, home buying journey, we've got real estate, mortgage financing, and legal. We'll touch base on these individually here and in collaboration, obviously, with JL and Harold, um, with lots of knowledge and value here on the legal aspect, on the mortgage financing aspect as well, um, as well as real estate. So myself, obviously, here with Shell and Harold, bringing you a 10-step home buying process to purchasing your first home. So here we have basically a roadmap um, of the journey you would enter into to take as a home buyer, any home buyer, as a matter of fact, and obviously, especially as a first-time home buyer, we've defined the stages, the process you would undertake, sort of like a life cycle, rather, um, starting with discovery, going through with working with a realtor to be connected to a mortgage specialist, and then going on to getting pre-approved, and obviously looking at listings, touring homes, drafting up offers, firming up on offers, the legal stages with title searches and things like that, and obviously the big day to move to your home. So with the discovery, obviously, we start with every opportunity starts with a problem, a need that needs to be addressed, and the need here being the reasons to buy, the home ownership, the pride of home ownership, and buy versus rent and own versus rent. Um, Timing, should you buy again, the requirements to purchasing a home, the mortgages, the employment, the income, the credit, all that good stuff. And the fun part, the responsibilities that come with it, bills, maintenance, um, curb appeal, enhancements, and things of that nature. So here, as a first step, once you start getting into wanting to look for a home, wanting to get into a home, um, most folks oftentimes think of looking for a realtor, hiring a realtor. And people start speaking with friends and family and whatnot, and looking online. And a lot of home searches start with online searches, obviously. And when you do hire a realtor, it is important to look for experience, qualifications, knowledge, skills, and having that right realtor um, by you, to stand by you, to guide you through the process, and to make the connections to whether it be a mortgage agent, a mortgage rep, a lawyer, an inspector, whoever it may be, it's critical, and also a realtor who understands your needs and your wants, and have that connection. As a matter of fact, is super critical, obviously. Uh, and with that comes certifications, credentials. Here's one of those that relates to buyers, accredited buyer representative. It's a certificate.
Hi, Nathan. There's something wrong with the.
Okay,
Yeah, it's better now.
is that better now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think it went kind of mute for the last 30 seconds. Just so you
Okay,
know.
okay, okay. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much of what you guys heard there. Just to back it up for a second here, um, do you guys get that ABR section there?
You could start from there. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So right after that, basically connecting with a mortgage rep, a mortgage agent, or a broker to have that mortgage checkup completed to determine what your buying power is, what your criterias are, qualifications are, stuff like that. And it's a vital component to start your home search journey with something like this here, and the benefits of having a pre-approval to be able to shop with confidence, save that heartache rather, meaning knowing what you're shopping for, and shopping within means and whatnot, and looking at properties that actually make sense and works for you versus that would not, and benefits of working with a mortgage agent. Um, and I'm going to pass it on to Carol here to take over from here.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me clearly?
Absolutely.
Perfect. My name is Harold Martinston. I'm a mortgage agent with Zolo Mortgages. This evening, I'm gonna discuss a few topics, especially dedicated for first-time home buyers, and guide you folks in the right path. As you all know, the essential, well, some do, some don't, but the minimum down payment required is 5% for a purchase price of a $500,000 home or below. Okay. It's very important that you plan for the saving of the closing costs anywhere from 1.5 to about 4% of the purchase price. So for anything less than 500,000, you need 5% down. Anything over 500,000, it would be 5% plus, say, for example, you got 500,000, you're buying a house for 600,000. For the first 500,000, it's 5%. And for the remaining 100,000, it would be 10%. So that would be your down payment. Um, Give me a second. So, in order to make a big investment like purchasing your first home, you need to be a big saver. Okay, it's very important that you save towards owning a home. Lenders review your income is sufficient to repay the mortgage once all other debts are factored in. So, the average income in Canada is about 75,000. That's the income. Okay, so credit score plays a huge role. Anything over 680, a credit score gets you good rates. Anything about 720 gets you the best rates and whatever promotions that a lender has going. Anything below a 600 credit score is pretty much you will need 20% down. So the cutoff is 600. That's the minimum credit score, but I would suggest that you have a credit score of anything 640 and above um, to qualify for a first time mortgage. Okay. So the first step that you should do is pre-qualify. All you need to pre-qualify is we don't do a credit check. All we need is your total income. either you or your spouse, a total income. What are your monthly liabilities? What are your, for example, what are your credit card payments every month? What is your car payment? So we need a basic understanding as to what your monthly payments are. We need to know, I would like to know what your down payment is, what you have saved up, and what kind of property you got in mind to purchase. So here's a great example. Say, for example, you have an income of 120K. The property that you're looking to buy has a property tax of $3,000 a year. We'll use heat as $100 a month, and the interest rate is 4.59. So using that information that I just provided, say for example, buyer one has zero debt. The maximum mortgage that they can qualify is $525,701.07. But if you look at buyer two, that buyer two has $1,500 in debt. Okay, monthly payments of them paying their car payment, their credit card, the line of credit. So you see a difference of what they qualify. The maximum mortgage they get is $377,616.26. So that's a huge drop of about $148,000 because you had $1,500 in monthly debt. So if you go to buy a tree, they got $2,500 in debt. The maximum mortgage that they qualify is $229,531.45. That's almost a drop of $300,000 mortgage. Okay, $300,000 that you could have qualified. So it's the basic picture that I'm trying to illustrate is the more debt you have, the less of a mortgage you're going to get. The less debt you have, the maximum mortgage you will qualify for. Okay, so the next step is once you get pre-qualified, you want to get a pre-approval. So you have a basic understanding. Okay, this is what I can qualify. Now you contact me, the mortgage broker, the agent, saying, "Hey, I want to get pre-approved so I can go house hunting." So basically, what you need is two pieces of ID. We could go with a driver's license for the time being, proof of employment, um, a letter from your employer saying you've been employed at your job, um, proof of down payment. You need to have at least 90 days of proof that your down payment is in your bank account, okay? And proof that you have money for the closing costs. Information about other assets. What kind of, do you own a car? Do you own other properties? These are information that I will require when I'm pre-approving. I would also want to know about your other personal debts, other financial obligations. For example, are you getting are you paying alimony? Are you paying child support? Are you getting child tax credit every month? So this is information that I will require so I can get your firm pre-approval. So the next step is legal documents and fees. Okay, so it's very important that once your realtor has guided you through the steps of finding your dream property, you sign your purchase agreement and set a closing date. It's time to set a date with your lawyer. Okay, um, I know Shale's here. He's going to get into more details about it. So the lawyer will want to meet with you at least 2 to 3 days before purchasing of before the closing date, and sign the necessary documents that you need. Okay, but I believe Shay will get into more details about that. Okay, so here's an example. So you want to make sure that, like I said before, you need to have 1.5 to about 4% of your purchase price saved for your closing costs. Here's an example. So you're looking at $500,000 purchase price. Your closing cost is going to be around 10,000. So the minimum down payment is 25,000 for half a million. So you're looking at a total of $35,000 you need to have prepared when you're purchasing your first home. And the second example is 600,000. Your closing cost is about 12,000. Minimum down payment is 35,000 for the 600,000. So in total, you need about 47,000 savings so you can get that deal closed. So this is a interesting slide here. So the government has different programs and incentives. CMHC has a first time buyer incentive. They have a home buyers plan. They have a land transfer tax rebate. They also have a first time home buyer tax credit. And recently, there was something that rolled out called a first home savings account. So basically, you could save up to 40K um, for the next 4 years. So it's 8K per year, so $8,000 per year, and it's tax free to purchase a home. So, say for example, you save $40,000 towards your first purchase of your first purchase. If you were to withdraw that 40,000, you don't need to pay that back, okay? And it's tax-free money. If you have an RSP and you withdraw the money, you have 15 years to pay it back, but it needs to be paid back. So with this first home savings account, you don't need to pay it back. And some cities have different grants that you could take advantage of. Okay, so the first time home buyer incentive could lower your monthly mortgage payments and make home ownership more affordable. Okay, so you must be purchasing your principal residence and you must live at your principal residence. Okay, and you will have to pay back the loan when you sell your home or in 25 years. So whichever comes first. So here are some points that I put in here. How do you qualify for a first-time home buyer incentive? The buyer has to have a minimum down payment of 5% of property value. Okay, at least one. Say for example, if you're married and one of you has not owned a home before, you could easily qualify for this program. Okay, in the maximum qualifying income is 120K, but in GTA and Vancouver, it's 150K. Okay. The total borrowing is no more than 4 times your qualifying income. So basically, if you're making 60,000 a year, so you times it by 4, so it's gonna be 120, so 240K. That's the maximum you can qualify for purchasing a home with that program. Okay, so here's a beautiful couple, Jane and John. They're both employed with an annual household income of $150,000. They have no credit card debts, no car payments. They have a savings of $35,000, and their credit score is 800, which is an excellent credit score. So basically, they're looking to buy a condo in the GTA under 600,000, and they would love to take advantage of the CMHC Shared Equity Mortgage Program. So here's a condo for sale in Toronto. The list price is $600,000. It's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 1 car parking, 1 locker. The maintenance fee is $472, 17 cents per month. The property tax you see is $1589, 22 cents, and it's about 600 square feet. So using the first-time home buyer incentive, the max income is 150,000. Like I said before, in Toronto, it's 150,000. In Vancouver, it's 150,000. Anything beyond that is 120K. So the purchase price is 600,000. The down payment is 35,000. So the shared equity mortgage. So basically, the government is giving you $30,000 towards a down payment. So now you have a total down payment of 65,000. So your mortgage after the down payment is 535,000 plus the CMHC insurance 16,585. So your total mortgage is $551,858. So your monthly mortgage payment is $3,208.05 by using that incentive. So we'll go to the next slide. So so now this is without the incentive. You're looking at $3,417.51. So your monthly payment has gone up by $209. So using the program, you're saving about $209 a month. This program is called a HBP plan. It's an RSP plan. I personally use this program when I first purchased my home. Basically, you can put towards $35,000 towards your RSP. Okay, you can withdraw the money to purchase your first home, and you have to be a first-time home buyer, and you have 15 years to pay it back. So with this program, you got 15 years to pay it back, and if you don't, you will be penalized, and you will have to pay back the taxes that you owe. Um, Basically, to get this, once you have your funds in a RSP, just go to your bank and request that you want to withdraw the money. And all you have to do is fill out the Form T 1036 form, and you're good to go. So using the RSP, okay, so say for example, you want to purchase a $500,000 house. You don't have a down payment, but your down payment is your RSP. So you withdraw the money, so which is $35,000. So you take 500,000 minus the $35,000 plus the mortgage default insurance. You're looking at a $483,600, and your monthly payments is about $2,812.64. Okay, so basically, what this couple did was they went into their RSP, they withdraw the money, and that was their down payment, and they were able to purchase their home, and they didn't have to pay tax right away. Land transfer tax. If you're a first-time home buyer, you're eligible to get some or all of your tax refunded. I believe Shay will get into that more in detail, I believe. In Ontario, the rebate for first-time home buyers could be up to $4,000. So there's a lot of incentives that's available to you. In Ontario, they offer you a rebate. And in Toronto, if you're buying a property in Toronto, they also offer you a rebate. So you could get a rebate up to $4,475. Okay. Um, the land transfer tax is always paid by the person buying the property. The buyer would pay a one-time land transfer tax at closing costs. Say, for example, you're buying a $500,000 home. The land transfer tax is approximately about $6,500. The higher the purchase price, the higher the land transfer tax. So think of it that majority of your closing costs, about 70 to 80%, is land transfer tax. Um,
Let's skip that. That's good.
Next slide.
Okay. So,
Yeah. Okay. First time home buyers tax credit. You could qualify for a first time buyer tax credit. It's a $10,000 non-refundable tax credit. It was passed. The legislation was passed in 2022. So there's a lot of incentives that you could take advantage of.
all right. So, with that pre-approval, um, and with having gone through the process of working with a mortgage rep, a mortgage agent, broker, whoever it be, That brings us a step closer to getting into um, um, do, narrowing down on properties, narrowing down on locations, identifying what that wish list may be, defining on criterias, um, figuring out what our features are, what our wish list is, and what we can and cannot live with, and what we must have, and things like that. So, for example, some of us may need a four-bedroom home, while others may be okay with a three-bedroom. Some of us may need a bungalow or a two-story. So, I mean, everyone's got unique requirements and criteria and things of that nature. So once we do have a pre-approval, we know what our shopping criterias are, what our budget is, how much we're able to go out to the market with to purchase a home for our family. We basically start with this process here, and once we're able to narrow down on what we need, what we want, and where we need to be, location, amenities, lifestyle, the family, the kids, schools, all that kind of stuff, we start out on our search, right? So we start looking at listings, researching neighborhoods, amenities, and lifestyles again. Looking at sale history, oftentimes there are properties that are listed below market value just to attract that multiple offer situation, to attract buyers to coming in to look at properties, and then you have offer situations where there's multiple offers. So it's important to check on sales history to narrow down listings that would fit within the budget, the criteria, and obviously the location and stuff. And as a good old saying goes, location, location, location. It's super important to have that location nailed down that fits with your lifestyle and what you have and what you must and whatnot. So, for example, elderly may need hospitals, whereas most of us starting out with first time homes, our first homes will need schools for our kids and things like that, right? So those kind of things. And then obviously once we do that, we're able to visit potential listings. We're able to go check out, what these homes look like, what the surroundings are. It's important to pay attention to curb appeal. I cannot stress that enough. Oftentimes, a lot of times, time can't be saved by looking at these from street views and looking at what some of the listings may look like, what the neighborhoods look like, and all that kind of stuff to get a gauge on if this is a neighborhood that would be a good fit for you and stuff like that. And then while you're there doing a walkthrough, make sure you do a complete walkthrough of the interior, the outside of the home. Um, Check the full components like foundation structures, electricals. I know we're not inspectors and things of that nature, but as best as we can to kind of get a visual on what's out there and what we're looking at is super important. Check cosmetics, leaks, and cracks. If there's any slopes or slanting on floors, walls, things like that. Check for the appliances and features and finish of that nature. And ultimately, it all comes down to, do you feel at home? And from the moment you walk into a home, you get a sense of, okay, you know what, this is a home that which fit my family, fit our lifestyle, or no, it's not. Like oftentimes, we walk into homes with buyers, and literally we turn around and walk away and say, hey, you know what, this is not going to work for me. So, it all comes down to, do you feel at home?
And Ethan, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
Just very faint.
And once we're able to identify and pinpoint that property, we want to get into offer situation and want to start looking at negotiating offers, terms and conditions, determining the type of offers. It could be fixed offer, it could be firm offers, it could be conditional offers. Obviously, based on how many other interested parties may be coming to the table with the type of property that may be up for sale, and then scheduling the process right with the offer, scheduling the inspections and all that kind of stuff, scheduling for when the conditions can go through with title searches and all that kind of stuff, and then figuring out what our deposit would be like. Sometimes sellers may ask for 5-10% deposit. Sometimes it may be a couple of grand, right? So just having that conversation with the sellers and their agents to figure out what the deposit would be like is super important, as well as you prepare and work towards getting that offer. And once you have that offer, it's a matter of finalizing the details, getting that deposit in within 24 hours of getting you accepted an offer is super important to secure that deal. Next one is finalizing the title and process.
Can't hear again.
You there? Can you hear me?
No.
I'm not sure
Yeah, that's better.
what's going on. I'm at full volume here. So, so finalizing on the details and making the deposit. Do you hear me now? Is that okay, or
Yeah, now it's clear.
it is okay? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. So making that deposit, having locking down on that offer on that opportunity for that property, and then scheduling inspections and appraisals, and finalizing on lending. And this is where you would go back to your mortgage rep, mortgage agent, and speak with them on next steps, providing them with the agreement of purchase and sale, working with them, and then you start speaking with your real estate lawyer. And here's where uh, Shell will come in and be able to help take it further from here. Yeah, Shell.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect. So good evening. Just for those who don't know, I'm Shale Rothman, managing partner of realestatelawyers.ca. If you want to take one thing away from this entire presentation, it's you need to build a team. Okay, so for example, we have a very well realtor, mortgage broker, real estate lawyer. The three come hand in hand. You just need to make sure that you have all three. No one's expecting you to walk away from the presentation and understand every single component, but you need to lean on the professionals who have expertise in each of those areas. So, strongly recommend, just from my seat where things go sideways, those who don't work with those professionals and have a team and try to do it alone in those various areas have a lot more stress and poor results. You want to make sure that you are getting pre-approved for a mortgage before you go shopping, and make sure that you're buying the product that suits you and your family the best within your means. Please make sure that you enter into an agreement that has a financial clause in there. So conditions allow you to get out of a contract. So for example, if you have a finance condition, it simply means that even though you're pre-approved for a mortgage, you have the ability to go back to that lender, say, this is the agreement that I've entered into. This is the property I'm purchasing and for that price. And the pre-approval, will it apply to this property? So at that point in time, they can give you a firm approval so that you know 100% the bank is going to lend on that property. Please make sure that you follow that procedure. It'll save you a lot of headache down the road in terms of any issues to ensure that you're qualified for that specific property. If you are buying a specific type of product, such as a condo, condominiums have what's called a status certificate, which it would be conditional upon our review. So it goes to the lawyer in order to review the status of the condominium corporation. And then, of course, our office would give you feedback if there was any issues with the condominium. From a first-time home buyer perspective, you need to realize that there's a lot of moving parts and don't get overwhelmed. The most important part, other than finding the product that you obviously want to buy, is the mortgage and making sure your financing is in place. Okay. So those two key components work hand in hand. If you can get over those two hurdles, when you start coming to my office, we hold your hand in order to walk you through the process. With respect to the closing, other than providing ID, which you're going to have to do to all parties, depending on your mortgage will depend on what type of documentation you need from you. So The intake team will ask you for all the different documents and other things that we'll need for closing. Prior to closing, usually a few days before, we'll be in touch with you in order to let you know how much money you need to bring in. That would be the difference between your purchase price and the deposit that you put down for it on the first day and the amount of mortgage that is being provided. So in an easy example, if you put down $500,000 with a $10,000 deposit, you still owe 490. If the bank gave you 400, it means you still have to come up with 90,000 on closing plus closing costs. So the closing costs would end up being legal fees, which is about $1,000, your title insurance, the government fees, and land transfer tax. So we have an online quote system that if you're trying to budget, just at realestatelawyers.ca, you just select the type of transaction that you're a first-time home buyer, and it plugs in all that information for you. One key component when you're calculating your closing costs is you need to understand whether you're living in Toronto or outside of Toronto, because it was alluded to before by Harold with respect to you get rebates for each of those scenarios. So anywhere in Ontario, you get up to $4,000. So if you bought a property that exceeded, so you owed $6,000 in land transfer tax, you only qualify for a $4,000 rebate. But if the land transfer tax was $3,000, then of course they're not going to give you more than what is actually owed. It's an instant rebate, so our firm actually does all the paperwork for you, and you just simply sign the affidavits, and you don't have to pay. So the days where you had to pay the tax and then get it back are long gone, so it's all instant. And again, Toronto has their land transfer tax as well. And again, there's a rebate for that. So make sure that you're communicating with the lawyer and staff before the closing, indicating that you're a first-time home buyer. If you happen to be going on title with somebody else, so for example, you needed a parent to help you qualify, remember that you will not qualify for the entire land transfer tax rebate. So that's when you should be contacting my office and have a conversation, because maybe you'll go on title for 99% and mom and dad are going on title for 1%, so you can qualify for 99% of the rebate. So it's really, really important that you have those conversations if you're put in that situation, because we can have trust agreements and things like that behind the scenes, so that when you do qualify 100% for a mortgage, mom and dad can come off of title and then there's no capital gains. So if you need to have a separate conversation, happy to have that with you. The biggest thing I just wanted you to take away from this is that there are closing costs. As far as a down payment is concerned, a lot of people go by percentages. When you get to the lawyer, it's dollars and cents. So we actually calculate it to the penny in terms of how much is owed. So when you're running your numbers and you think you're putting 10% down, it will never be exactly 10%. So I'm just trying to manage expectations. It'll always be to the penny in terms of how much money you owe. And of course, when you come through the law firm, we're going through the trust ledger and breaking down every single item in terms of where money is coming in and money going out, so you know exactly where all the payments are going. Okay. So it's a lot of information coming all at you. I could talk all night and keep on giving you more information. But the biggest thing I want you to walk away from this meeting tonight is just build your team. Whoever it is that you feel comfortable with, build a team with a realtor, mortgage broker, and real estate lawyer, because those are the backbone of the transaction. If you can lean on the professionals that do it every single day, it'll make your life significantly easier moving forward. You can lean on them for all the answers because that's their expertise. So wishing you best of luck in your upcoming purchase, and feel free to reach out anytime if you have questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shale. So, with that being said, signing up with the lawyer and preparing for closing with setting up the home insurance. And this is where the fun part starts, right? The additional expenses start kicking in with home insurance, setting up your utilities accounts for hydro, heat, and water, and that kind of stuff, scheduling your moves, coordinating your disconnect from your current residence if you've got services there, and if you're renting a freehold property or condo with additional utilities, and and finally moving on to the closing day and moving over to your new home. Um, um, and the best part, from the big Y to the big day, where you're able to load up the truck and head over to your new home here we go, right? The big moment. With that being said, that brings us on to the 10-step process, basically, with a lot more in depth, obviously, of um, intricate information and systems in place in between. Here's contact information, and like Shell mentioned, having that team, having that power team. When you're on your journey to home ownership, you too can make it happen. Here's contact information, by the way, for Shell and myself and Harold. Um, be happy to share that as well. Uh, and that brings us on to our question answers period. There is a QR code here. Feel free to scan that. Um, Save that onto your phone. It gives you your initial point of contact with myself, and that's my contact info there. And please do exchange your contact there as well. Five lucky winners will get 25 air miles rewards points for participating. And we also have a home buyer guide that will be emailed out to everybody that can scan and send you contact info. Yeah, so with that said, I will open it up for any questions. If there's any, don't see any coming in. So I guess we will wrap it up here. Thank you, Shell, for coming in this evening, and everybody else that tuned in online, and Harold and John as well.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me over here. One thing that I could say is that don't be shy. Call your mortgage agent and get pre-qualified. It gives you a basic understanding as to what you could qualify for, and that will get the ball rolling. So it's very important to get a rough estimate, get pre-qualified, get your approval, and then you can go house hunting and get that deal closed. And Nathan and Shale will guide you in the right path.
Absolutely. It's teamwork, and we're all here to help and do what we can as best as we can. And obviously, with my partner John here as well with EXP Realty. John, thank you for being here as well.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody. Feel free to reach out anytime.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good one.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Guys.